Greetings all, it's Blue Knight, and welcome back to Persona 3 FES. Previously, we joined the Specialized Extracurricular Execution Squad C's, yes I do have that memorized, don't judge me, and learned that Junpei joined our ranks shortly afterwards. And now that the group is big enough, we're ready to explore Tartarus, the labyrinth that disguises itself as Gekkoukan High by day. Let's talk with the other members first before we head off, because I want to see what they have to say. So this is Tartarus. Yeah. So we can check with certain party members' status to see what their skills are, what their strengths are, and so on and so forth. Let's talk with Junpei too. Alright, let's do this. I'll prove that I should be in charge. Dude, Junpei, you can't lead yourself, let alone a whole group of us, so thanks but no thanks. I think I'll do the leading here, as I was appointed by Akihiko to do so. Also, I did show this off the last episode, but we finally got our stats screen. I don't know why, but I feel so naked without this when it's deactivated for the longest time. But now we can finally see what it has in store for us. I'll go over this gradually throughout the game since I don't want to waste too much time, as the main objective today is to explore Tartarus. So we're not going to waste any more time in doing so. Are you ready? Hell yeah, we're ready, Mitsuru. Let's do this. Our first venture into the labyrinth. And we're starting off in the double block.
So, this is it, huh?
I hope I don't get lost.
Can you all hear me?
Whoa, is that you, Senpai?
I'll be providing audio backup from here on out.
Wait, you mean you can see inside here?
It's my persona's ability. I'd like to join you, but the structure of Tartarus changes from day to day. That's why outside support is imperative.
Well, that makes me feel a whole lot better.
Now, based on your current location, you can expect to encounter enemies at any minute. They shouldn't be too tough, but proceed with caution. Practice makes perfect.
Right.
Got it. Why is she always like that?
I wonder if Yukari started off about the way Mitsuru acts, because Mitsuru doesn't really act like most students. Maybe that's what's causing her to be all apprehensive towards her. That's what I'm thinking. Keep in mind these are real battles you'll be engaging in. Now see if you can eliminate all the shadows wandering around on this floor. So welcome to Tartarus, and more importantly the double block like I mentioned before. We obtained medicine from this briefcase, which is pretty much our chest we'll find. We can find various items in those chests ranging from medicine, which can give us a small amount of HP, to actually yen, money that we can use to buy stuff in the real world. Watch out, I detect a shadow in front of you. Well, thanks Mitsuru, it's not like I can see with my own two eyes. So to use our weapon, we have to hit the X button while doing so. If we can hit an enemy before it hits us, we'll have the advantage going into battle. Alternatively, if the enemy hits us before we can attack it, then they will have a first strike going to the fight. So it's best to sneak up on the enemy from behind and strike like so to get the first turn in battle.
Takeba has informed me about your power, but nevertheless, you have minimal combat experience. Would you like me to explain the basics of battle?
No thanks Mitsuru, I think I'll do that myself.
Okay, then I want you to defeat the enemy before you. Try using both the skill and attack options.
So we temporarily went over this when we fought the shadows the first time, but we have attack and skill in order to combat against the shadows we'll find in Tartarus. But now that we have a big group, we can also access the tactics option. This option can allow us to command certain party members to do different things. So if I wanted Junpei to be assigned a certain target, I would assign him to assigned target, and then pick whichever target that I wanted to go after. Or I could have Yukari, since she's a healer, I could set her to heal and support, and she will only just do that. Use healing skills on us, or whatever supporting skills that she'll have without having to attack, at least unless we're completely healed up, and if we're just completely fine, then she'll attack on her own. We'll also have items, which is items we can use that we picked up during Tartarus, and that stuff we could buy in the real world as well. But for the time being, we'll just attack this shadow. We can analyze the enemy by pressing L1, and then selecting which enemy we want to get information from. This will take a few turns for Mitsuru to give us the full details of the enemy. Alternatively, you can set Mitsuru, you can do this from going to the support option, the tactics menu, and then hitting analyze, but really just hit the L1 button. It's a much better shortcut. Request help is something I'll go over at a later time. So let's just normally attack this enemy, because if we can last long enough, then we might get the full information from what foe that we're facing at. Or not, we can just eliminate it. That works too, I guess. We did get a stuff soul on the deal though. That heals a small amount of SP, which is magic that we use. We'll go over that in the next battle, which will be coming up relatively soon. But there's a staircase nearby. This is the only way to proceed to the next floor. Normally we would do this if we were exploring Tartarus, but since this is our first time, we will have to do such a thing for now. But next visit, we will be going through Tartarus floor by floor in order to see what we can find. So another shadow ahead of us. So Mr.'s gonna explain the first strike mechanic that I already just went over. Now there's one major thing I have to point out about the first strike mechanic. You have to sneak up completely behind the enemy in order to get the first turn in battle. If the enemy is alert to you but you do strike it anyways... Wait, hang on.
Which are important to consider.
Attack properties.
Do you want to know more?
Actually, I'll let Mr. handle this because I don't really remember what this is about.
Nearly every type of attack is associated with a particular property. For example, swords can be used to do slash attacks, while bows are used to do pierce attacks. Skills, on the other hand, have different properties. Bufu, for instance, indicates an ice attack. Now, most enemies are vulnerable to certain types of attacks. In other words, they have weaknesses. A fire skill will deal greater damage to an enemy that's weak against fire. With my power, I can analyze an enemy to determine its weaknesses and strengths. That falls under tactics.
The first time an enemy is analyzed, you may have to wait a while for the results, like I already mentioned before, but from then on, when we analyze that particular enemy, we can see the results outright. When you select your target, if a question mark appears above the enemy, then that enemy has not been analyzed.
Do you follow? The enemies you're facing have a weakness that you can exploit. Why don't you give it a try?
Okay, thanks for the reminder, Mitsu. I really didn't remember what she was saying based on their previous dialogue, but now I have a clear explanation of what to do. So I'll try to analyze one of these cowardly Mayas again. We'll attack this one because all the party members will go after the ones that have taken damage. Just like so. That way we'll get more than enough time to finally get the results. Just like so. So after waiting a few turns, you'll get to know the full info about the enemy. Their levels, their HP, SP, and so on and so forth. But most importantly, their weaknesses. In this case, a cowardly Maya is weak to fire. Which, as you remember, is a skill that I did acquire for Orpheus when we leveled up in the first battle. So if I do such a thing, that exploits the enemy's weakness. And we get one more turn since we did exploit the enemy's weakness to perfection. So I'm allowed to attack again to exploit another enemy's weakness like so. And if we knock down all the enemies, we'll have something called an all-out attack that is open to us. This could deal massive damage to a foe depending on your overall level and the weapon that you have. Most importantly, their strength. Ooh, a revival bead! I was not expecting to get that in the first exploration. That's really cool. So revival bead, to go over that very quickly, that just resurrects whatever party member that has fallen in battle. It only heals them up to half health though, so keep that in mind. seems to be a shadow just around the corner. Approach carefully to avoid being spotted. The map will be useful as you explore, so use it often. So the map will be covered a bit at a time as you explore a new floor. So be sure to pay attention to that a bit often. A bit very often, that's what I'm trying to say. Because, like Mitsuru said, Tartarus is randomized. And she's gonna force me to go into battle. Okay, Mitsuru, I'll go. I was gonna try to explore the rest of this floor, but she's not gonna allow me until I eliminate all the shadows first. So like what Mitsuru said, Tartarus' floor changes day by day, so you can't have a clear strategy going into every block in your adventure when you're going through this labyrinth, because the floors are all completely randomized. So let's attack this shadow, and I'll try to continue on my explanation about all-out attacks, which is something that Mitsuru is going to try to talk to us about right now.
If you didn't already notice. Would you like more detail?
That's not necessary.
Then proceed with the battle. Use what you've...
So as you saw in the last battle, if I exploit an enemy's weakness, we'll be able to knock them down. Knocking them all down will open us to an all-out attack. This will allow us to deal massive damage to an enemy or a group of enemies depending on the overall level we're at and our current equipment, most importantly how strong the weapon is. This goes to all members of your party. So if all of your members are outfitted with very strong weapons or at very high levels, you will deal massive damage. However, it is not wise for you to go for all-out attacks all the time. There are some enemies that can actually withstand an AoE. So sometimes it's better to relent from the AoE so the enemy can recover from being knocked down. Because once an enemy is knocked down, they'll have to use that turn to get back up and recover. Then they have to wait till their turn comes around again to attack. And now we have these mysterious cards that have appeared in our mind. This was what Igor was talking about. This is known as shuffle time. After battle, we will occasionally have the opportunity to select a card from the ones shuffled before our eyes. If we could pick a card with a persona on it, then that persona will be used by us. We'll actually gain it in other words. But there are other effects that we can get from different cards as we've seen. The green ones are wands which we can get extra experience from. And that cup thing is actually called a cup card, which which heals either our HP or the full party's HP. But I'll be going after the persona first. And we have obtained Pixie. More often than not, I try to go after personas so I can have more options to use in battle. So that's why I actually go for personas the most. Though experience is not that bad to have either. I mean, this is RPG after all.
My skill level has increased.
Ta-da-da-da! I'm the man!
And whenever you see the party's HP line up like that, then they do get a level up. However, you have to talk to the party member themselves to see what skills they gain if they do gain such a thing. This does get remedied in later games where after that party member levels up, then they will display what skill they've earned. Not in this game, unfortunately. You have to talk to the party member themselves to see what has changed about them when they leveled up, which is something that I'm not a fan of. And I'm very grateful that does get changed in later games. The shadow up ahead. If you and other party members in bad shape, we can use healing items prior to engaging the enemy. Or I can just ask Yukari to heal us during our time on the field. You should make a habit of checking your stats before entering a battle, which can be very helpful depending on what floor you're at and what enemy you might encounter. It's always best to be a bit prepared before going into a fight. So just like so, with some members I can be healed on the field. As for the case Yukari, I can do that. I cannot do that with Junpei because he's not a healer, he's more of a fighter. So keep that in mind. It's actually a really big shadow. It's also worth noting to pay attention to the size of the shadow themselves. The bigger the shadow that's on the field, the more shadows you'll have to fight.
There is a better way to defeat all of your enemies in battle than to attack them individually. You can perform an all-out...
And she's gonna tell us about the all-out attack. We already know about this.
Then, that concludes the basics of battle. But there's one last thing I need to tell you. Shadows become stronger the further you advance. If you don't think you can win a battle, retreat at once. There may be times, however, when an escape will be impossible. This battle is one of those times. Good luck.
It's not like this could be any difficult. So now we have multiple personas. I can switch personas on the fly. So if I can switch to Pixie, then I might be able to use it. Although it has Dia though, so that's a healing skill which I don't have to use right now. So I didn't go over this, but there are two types of attacks we can use. Bash and Augie are of two different types of attacks, which I think I just redundantly said. Bash is a physical attack which takes up our HP. Augie is a magic attack that will take up some SP. So it's always worth knowing that you should probably use more SP because, well, you don't want to use too much HP, otherwise you might end up getting killed if a shadow does attack you. But physical attacks can be helpful at times as well, so don't neglect those too much. Ultimately, it comes down to whatever the enemy is weak to. So that would be one big exception to use a physical attack. Other than that, it does do a lot of damage, so don't outright underestimate the importance of a physical attack if you don't find an enemy that's weak to it. Okay, clear out the remaining Cowardly Mayas, and that's the battle.
Keep up the good work.
It's also worth noting that every time that you, the protagonist, can kill off the last enemy, more often than not, shuffle time will occur. If another party member does kill off the last shadow, that will not happen. But a guaranteed way to get shuffle time to activate is by killing all the enemies with an all-out attack. So be sure to keep that in mind. We also have another type of card, that's a sword card, which will unveil a certain weapon that we can use, or more like random actually. In my experience, finding these can be a bit useless because more often than not, you might find weapons that...
Yes! My skill level has increased!
I just wanted to be quiet for a second so those two can get their level cries out. But as I was saying, more often than not, I find sword cards to be more useless because they'll give you weaker weapons that what you might already have by the time you do go back into Tartarus, or if you find like a stronger weapon from a chest. So I always end up selling off whatever weapon I get from those sword cards. Usually there are more shadows on the prowl. Well, at least you gained some battle experience. Let's go back to the door for today. There should be an access point somewhere on that floor. You can use it to return to the entrance. Since there are any enemies to worry about, we'll have the option to split up. So these are on-field tactics we can use as well by hitting the square button. By doing so, we can either command our party to split up, or set their priority to defeat shadows. If they are trying to defeat shadows individually, you can use this option to regroup if they're on their own. For now, we're just going to split up and try to find the access point, or the stairs, or items. But if they're not very strong, they can easily fall prey to the enemies, so keep an eye on their HP if you do select the split up option.
Spread out and proceed individually.
Let's see, where can be the access point? I'll let the Junpei get that. And he was actually going to say something really funny, but Yukari cut him off. I don't know why, but I think that seems kind of appropriate. So now that Yukari found the access point, we have the option to either keep going or go back. Since we have nothing else to do in Tartarus, we'll just go back. And whatever item that the party member picks up from a chest, they'll give it to us after we advance or retreat for the day.
Welcome back. So, how was it? I see. Well, if you gained confidence, that's the best thing you could have achieved.
Wow, I never knew I had that kind of power. We kicked some ass. But damn, I'm beat.
That's because you were bouncing around like a little kid.
Yeah, you look pretty tired yourself, Yucatan.
I'm still trying to catch my breath, actually.
That's the effect of the dark hour. You'll become fatigued more easily. Don't worry, though. You'll adapt. But I'm surprised. You all did much better than I expected. At this rate, they'll catch up to you in no time, Akihiko.
We'll see about that.
And with our first exploration in Tartarus complete, our full social link levels up. Thou art I, and I am thou. And it's just the same message from when we get to initiate a social link. I think it should be worth noting that I'll be going through what's known as a max social link run in this game, which means I'll be showing off every social link there is to get in Persona 3 FES. And by extension, I'll try to show off 100% of this game. It might be tough for me to do, but I plan on trying to show every single aspect that's available in P3 FES. So I just wanted to point that out. And I think that's gonna be it. It might kick us back to get control of our character. Yes, it does. Dude, I can't take it anymore. I'm starving. Well, I guess I can understand where Junpei's coming from. I mean, getting that much exercise can definitely leave you hungry at the end. I'm feeling tired. Let's go back. Well, it's not like we have any choice. Mitsuru's not gonna let us advance in our current state right now. From now on, you'll select your party here before you enter Tartarus. I'll explain the details some other time. Today, bien. You did well today. Now let's head back to the dorm. And we'll be doing that next time on Persona 3 FES. Now that we got a bit of battle experience under our belt, we're gonna exit the dark hour and see where life just takes us. Although we do have to keep Tartarus in mind so we can advance as far as possible before we end up neglecting this too much. Until we meet again, farewell for now.